Welcome to Black Sheep. Come on in. Hi, I'm Nancy from Black Sheep Knitting here in Needham, Massachusetts. We are a local yarn shop and we teach classes and do a lot of workshops, and we're open Tuesday through Saturday from 1 to 5. We have classes in the morning, and some people ask us why we're not open in the morning. It's because we hold classes here and we would like to have the people in the class sort of have the full reign of the shop. Although we do have 2 classes that take place during the shop hours on Tuesday and Thursday. But for the most part, we like to have the students to have the full attention of the teacher and the full shop to themselves, and to be able to work in a quiet space, although the classes aren't always quiet, as those in the classes will tell you. We've been away for a while with the holidays and illnesses, and we're back. I don't think we're videoing next week, and we'll see about the week after. We have some things going on, but we will be back in full in February, end of January, February. We have lots of workshops going on. I think a lot of the ones that we have advertised have sold out. So what we would like from you is, if you didn't get into a workshop, if there's one you wanted to take, please email us and let us know. That lets us know if we have enough people to offer a second class or a third class, whatever the case may be. They've been very popular. The Fiddlehead Mittens workshop is a very popular one with the amazing Catherine, who is one of the most thorough teachers I've ever seen. And a bunch of the others are with Giovanna, and Giovanna is just an amazing teacher. She is, I just can't sing her praises enough, and she's come up with some very clever formats and classes. There's one blocking, steeking, knitter's math, and brioche. So if you didn't get into those classes and you're interested in having her do another session, she's happy to do that. Her workshops have to take place on Saturdays because she has a full-time job. Catherine's workshops are generally on Mondays or Wednesdays. She doesn't do them on the weekends. So please let us know, and more importantly, let us know if there's something else you'd like a workshop in. We're all very creative in this shop. The staff is amazing, so they can teach a whole array of classes. They're quite skilled and knowledgeable, so let us know. We'd love to hear from you. I hope everybody had a safe holiday and are looking forward to a little bit more winter and then the springtime. I was reminded that, gosh, March is around the corner. I was thinking about something I had to do in March, and I thought, that's not very far away, so I should get myself in gear and get things done that need to get done. Today is going to be all about hoodies and hoods. They seem to be quite popular on Ravelry, and I found 4 patterns that I'd like to make you aware of. These are projects that are some of them are bigger than others because the hoods are bigger, but they're wonderful. They can be used as cowls, scarves, and a hood. And in this kind of weather, having a hood over you is fantastic, I think. It keeps you warm. It doesn't scrunch your hair as much as a hat does, and it also keeps your neck very warm. So I recommend them. I think they're great. And so, of course, the wonderful Petite Knit designer has come up with one called the Sophie Hood, which, as you can see, if you can see here, and Robin will put up a picture of it, it has long tails on it, so you can use it as a scarf, sort of a scarf, or a cowl, and you can wrap it around you to keep warm. This particular pattern calls for an Aran weight. Now, I've talked to all of you about this over and over again. Everybody's definition of Aran, DK, worsted, bulky, chunky, super bulky, they're all a little bit different, and so depending on who you talk to, you might get a different answer to what is an Aran weight in terms of stitches per inch or over 4 inches. So this particular pattern calls for an Aran, and they're saying that it's 17 stitches over 4 inches in a garter stitch pattern. Now I can tell you, so if you had a yarn that was 18 stitches over 4 inches, it would probably be just fine. And you can do a gauge for yourself, which obviously you will do. So I would put it in the worsted / Aran weight category. So I wanted to show you a yarn that I pulled that I thought would be really yummy for this. And I'm always sensitive about how much a hat pushes my hair down, because I have thin hair and it tends to get pushed flat on my head, which I'm not in favor of. So I pulled out a yarn that I think would be fantastic for it, and that's the Amal. Amal, we don't know how it's really pronounced, but it's Amelie. And this is a baby alpaca and mulberry silk, and this one says it's 15 to 16 over 4 inches. But we have used it a little bit tighter, so I think you can use it as, and I think it'll work out really well at a 17 stitch gauge, because it's not far from 16. So I wanted to show you the colors. This one's called Copper, and I think if you had dark hair or red hair, maybe that'd be gorgeous on you. And it calls for 437 to 720 yards. So I'm guessing you can have different lengths and different depths, or so maybe they're basically different sizes. You'll have to read through the pattern to see which size you would do. This one is called Light Gray, obviously. This one, can you imagine this wrapped around your face, this gorgeous pink? This is called Pink. And then we have White, which is very pretty, I think. And we have Charcoal. And I think there's a couple other colors I didn't bring out, but they're on the website. And we have Light Blue. So those are some choices. We have lots of other yarns that you could use. So you just want to look in the worsted to Aran weight category for that one. The next one, I thought this one was really very pretty and very stylish. It's called My Jose Hood. It says My Jose Hood is a fusion between a warm hood and a soft scarf. With the hood down, it functions as a beautiful scarf with a bow made of I-cord ties. It's worked from the top down. Top is knitted first, and then the stitches are picked up along the edges. Then it's worked back and forth, and the I-cord finishes it. So this is it, and it recommends, again, so here it says an Aran weight, and this designer is saying that's 18 stitches over 4 inches. So you could probably have used the Amelie, but what we chose, and we have others that would work very well, but what I chose to show you, and we have a lot of it, and I'm a huge fan of this yarn. This is the Ultra Alpaca. It is got 200 yards in a skein, and it's alpaca and wool, and it's quite soft, I have to say. So this one's called Periwinkle Mix, and this calls for 680 yards, so you would probably get away with 3 of these for it, 3 skeins. And this one is called Pitch Black, and it is pitch black. And we have grapefruit mix. I should remember these, but I don't. The memory is going. What am I going to do? This is called Tea Rose. I love that color. It's like got gray tones to it. And then we have white. Do they call it white? They do. That's a beautiful white, creamy. and millet, this is called. So we have tons of these. I might be confusing you, but I want you to see all the colors. So if you want to buy online, you've at least seen them sort of in person, or you can just come to the shop. This is called avocado, and this has been so popular it's really hard to keep it in the shop because it's a heathered green. It's got different shades of greens in it, and almost even a wheat tone. I don't know if I'd call it that, but anyway, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous green. And we have Zephyr, also a very popular color, and then this gray called sunflower seed. I always thought of sunflower seeds as black, and this is vintage, which is not what we were showing. It somehow was in the wrong bin, but this vintage would be great. Any of the vintage yarns would be, and their colors are somewhat similar to the Ultra Alpaca because they're the same company.
But the difference is?
The difference between the two is this is wool and alpaca, and it's a non-superwash. This is a superwash yarn that is acrylic and nylon and wool. It's 40% wool and it's 52% acrylic. So it wears like iron. You can throw it in the wash. It's a great workhorse of a yarn, and we do love it.
And boy, do we have a lot of colors.
And we have a lot of colors, same as the Ultra Alpaca. This is called Indigo Mix, and this is my particular favorite because, and it's probably going to look kind of teal to you, but it's, well, it is kind of dark, dark teal, but it's really a gorgeous, gorgeous color, I think. And then finally we have Chianti, very pretty red, bright, nice, rich red. So anyway, that's the Jose Hood, and I think you would have a lot of fun making this, and it probably is a fairly quick knit. I then have, now a lot of these three that I'm showing you are similar gauges, so you could use all these yarns I'm showing you, you could interchange them with these. This one's called Hudola, a basic hooded cowl by Laura Nelkin. Laura Nelkin's a very well-known designer, and she has great patterns. And this is it, and she shows it in a lot of different ways. You can see wearing it different ways. And if you look, and I think you could probably do this with a bunch of these, you can pull the collar part up over your face to keep the cold out, which I think is a really cool idea. So you just fold it up under and then put it over. So for this I chose the cotton merino yarn from Juniper Moon Fibers. And this is one of those yarns that has a, it's like a webbing. You call it a webbing? I think that's what they call it. And it's in cotton, and I don't know if you can see it close up. You can see the sort of whitish part. That's like a webbed cord, and they blow the wool into that. So it's a really interesting, and it says it's 19 micron merino wool, which is very fine wool. So it's super soft, and it's generous yardage. It's 229 yards. So this one calls for 380, so 2 of these would get you a good one. This is called Coal. I always thought that was blue. Someone's at the door, but we're not open. It's called Charisse. This one is a red. And this one is Chalk. And this one is Petal. And our fourth hood is called the Alex Hood by Pernille Larsen. And it is this is interesting because, well, it says fingering plus lace will give you a DK, but they're calling the gauge 34 stitches over 4 inches. Now, why does that seem not right? Because a DK is 22 stitches over 4 inches. However, this isn't a 2x2 rib, and the one thing we know about ribbing is that it pulls in on itself. So that's why there's a difference there, and I'll show you the pattern and you can see. So you're going to use a DK yarn, but because you're doing ribbing, the gauge is going to be a little weird, but ribbing, you remember, stretches. So what you really want to do is just get a DK yarn. So this one is a fun one. It's got, again, long tails. You can just pull it up over your head, or you can wrap it around you, and the little hood you'll see here hangs down in the back. Right there you can see. So we picked out some that we thought would be good because they were putting a fingering with lace. So the ones we chose to show you are, I chose this yarn that I just think is fabulous, is the Harriet Fine. And this is a baby alpaca with some nylon. This particular one is called Navy, and we found an Isayer silk mohair in Navy as well. We also found that would be really fun to do is the Lang Mohair Lame. And this is in a navy, but if you can see up close, there's some sparkle in there for fun. So that's a good idea. This is another fun one that I like in Harriet Fine, and this is called Bahia Beach. And this we paired with mohair, the silk mohair, Isayer again, in the color mint. Now, when you put a mohair with a fingering, the mohair sometimes dominates, but it also adds to it and makes a really good marl. So in this case, I got one of the Harriet Fine, and this one's called Downpour. And it has hints of blue and slight hint of purple. So what I chose to put with it is the mohair, silk mohair lavender. And I think these will set each other off beautifully. I think it'll be really fun. And I've seen great combinations of mohair and wool put together that bear no relation to each other, and they make a beautiful fabric. So be open to taking a chance and having fun with something. And so in that vein, I chose the Black River Stone, which is it's not quite black. This is again in the Harriet Fine. It's a deep charcoal. And what we thought would be fun with that is this wine color. So if you kind of use your imagination and think of those two together, marled, it would be very pretty. You could also take the Downpour and put it with this, which I think would be fun. You could take the charcoal and the lavender, which I think would be great fun as well. And what if you did the wine with the navy, or this would be perfect, the navy with the Downpour. So lots of choices here, fun things to experiment with and try. These are small projects that you can finish while it's still cold out and you still need. And remember, somebody was talking on the news the other day that March is really the windiest month we have. So if you start one today, you'll have it to wear with the March winds. Or if you start it over the weekend, we're supposed to have some inclement weather. So it'd be nice to sit in and enjoy knitting on a new project. And remember, There's nothing wrong with starting a new project if you still have something on the needles. And in fact, I do recommend that, because I sometimes get bored with a project a little bit, or I'm stumped, or something about it's bugging me. It's nice to have another project that you can pick up while the other one sort of chills in the back of your head. So that's what I do. Of course, I overdo it a little bit. I have more than one project on the needles, and some projects I have go in timeout for a couple of months, or even 6 months or more. One thing I advise, though, when you put something down, mark where you left off. Don't just throw it in a corner and forget about it, and make sure it's sitting with its pattern. We're quite clever here, but we can't always figure out somebody's pattern just from what they bring into us, or what yarn they're using. Because if you lose the yarn or you run out, it's often hard to find the right yarn that you were using. It's also it's a wise thing to always buy a little extra yarn. If you knit really tight, I think, if I'm thinking about this right, you use up more yarn. Am I right? Anybody tell me if
The gear should be smaller,
I think you use more yarn.
so you would need more yarn.
So, or vice versa. Somebody tell me. It's been a long week. I was sick yesterday. I'm still getting back on my feet. But you want to do that. One reason is you don't want to run out on a Saturday night. Another reason is you don't want to miss getting the right dye lot, or you don't want to risk having the yarn be discontinued. And that happens to people a lot of the time. So be generous. We offer store discounts, or not discounts, store credits for returned yarn that's been unwrapped or unwound, not wound. So, just bite the bullet and buy a little extra if you can. It's just so disheartening to have somebody to come in here and find that either the yarn is discontinued, we don't carry it anymore, or you can't get the same color or dye lot. So, that said, I don't know what else I have to say today. What am I wearing? Oh, I'm wearing Vector. And it's a pattern, I think, by Joji Locatelli. I did it a number of years ago, probably during COVID, I think. What I did, I used DK weight yarns, and I have been collecting them for a while. I was collecting DK weight yarns just because hand-dyed ones. So I had a collection of colors. So I used these colors, and you can think about doing that. Did I spill something on me? Oh dear. No. You can think about taking the segments of a sweater, if you have something that has pattern to it, whether it's fair isle or it's lace work or texture. You can use different colors of yarn, and they don't even have to match that much. These tended to match pretty nicely. You can see the blues. So I have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have 4 colors? 1, 2, 3. I think I have 4 colors in this. And it was a lot of fun to go through my stash. And if you have stash that you don't know what to do with, think about putting, and if you put your yarns, if you're organizing, put your yarns by weight, you can go through your stash and say, hey, this would make a great sweater. I have, Robin, if you can just grab, oh no, my bag is my bag there?
No, it's my oh, yes, it is.
My bag, I'll show you what I am doing now with some stash. So this is, I had, I think when I first bought the shop, I went a little nuts and bought some things for myself, and I do, as somebody asked me, well, you can just take things home. No, I buy them, but I do buy them, I think, at cost for the most part. So I had cashmere, this Cardiff worsted cashmere in a bag, because it wasn't selling in the shop, and I thought, well, I'm going to buy it and I'll do something with it. Well, it has sat in a closet for quite a while, and so I decided I was going to knit with it. So I got a pattern called the Super Simple Summer Sweater, and it calls for big stripes, big chunks. And somebody at the door.
We have this sweater.
Oh, there's this Robin's showing the sweater. So what I decided to do, because I had these 4 colors, to figure out my own stripe sequence. And this is the Super Simple Summer Sweater, and Robin will show it to you in a minute. What I like about this pattern, it fits me nicely, and this I had done with ultra alpaca and then a yarn that we no longer have, but it's a marled worsted weight. And all the increases are within the yoke. And this is getting to be a comedy of errors, this video. Robin caught my microphone again. But so you can see that they take place here. That makes it a very easy sweater to knit. You put the sleeves on hold while you knit the rest, and then go back and do the sleeves. Has a split hem, though maybe I'll do a split hem, maybe I won't. I mean, that's the nice thing about you being the knitter. You can adjust things, you can change things, you can get creative. I even thought about maybe doing a little texture in here. I'm not sure, but this is what I have so far, and it's kind of fun doing that. And working on cashmere, of course, is really nice. So that's, I think, maybe all I have to say today. Look for new workshops on the website. We'll be doing more. I know I said I was going to do a toe-up magic loop sock class, and I will do that. We just had some scheduling issues, and we'll let you know when that's going to happen. So I hope you carve out time every day to do a little knitting. 5 or 10 minutes of knitting, you'd be surprised how that adds up. And if you think I don't have time to knit, or people say, oh, I haven't touched my needles in a week, you can find 5 or 10 minutes to sit down, give yourself a little meditation while you're doing it, because we know yarn or knitting is meditative. You can sit and do a little bit of knitting, and it adds up, and you don't have to see it as you having to sit down and do a big chunk of knitting. You don't have to do that, but a small amount early in the morning when no one's up or around. I know some knitters who get up early, make a cup of coffee, and sit and knit for a half an hour or 10 minutes or an hour. And that adds up. You'd be surprised how fast things will get finished for you. But if you don't touch it for a week, you have to spend time, figuring where was I, what was I doing, and then by the time you get into that, get yourself settled, it's time to go. So if you do a little bit a day, if you don't have time to sit and knit, like some of us like to sit and knit and watch movies, that's my favorite thing, or just sit and listen to music or a book on tape. That's another favorite activity for me. So carve out some time for yourself. You deserve it. And we will see you, maybe not next week, but probably the week after. So happy knitting, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.